How's it going, everyone? So in this video, I'm going to show you guys about quotes in HTML. I'm going to show you guys the abbreviation element and also the address element. So where we left off last time, we did some inline CSS. So I'm just going to delete all of this just so we can start from scratch. So if you want to put some text in a quote, all you can do is you use the short quote element. And I'm just going to say this is a quote. So I'm going to save that and I'll show you how that looks. So you can see this is a quote is encapsulated with the quotations around it. So that's pretty much it for a short quote. Now, what if you have a very long quote? Well, I mean, I can just extend the sentence, right? And I can say this is a quote again and keep doing that. And it'll all encapsulate it in a quote, which is just fine. So if I save that, open that up. So quote's a little longer and it's all encapsulated by quotations. But if you have an even longer quote than that, we tend to use the block quote element. So what this does, it's going to indent it so that it's properly formatted for a long quote. So I'm just going to say this is a long quote, and then I'm going to copy this and paste it several times. So that way you can see how a block quote will look when a quote is very long. So I'm going to save that, going to open that up. So now you can see here's the block quote here, and you can see the indentation. So this keeps the web page properly formatted for when a quote will last several lines, right? So we'll exit out of there. So those are pretty much the main elements for quotations. Q, you're going to use for just a short, simple quote. Block quote is when you're going to have a quote that's going to span several lines, right, to keep it properly formatted. So those are quotes. So now let's get to the abbreviation element. So for instance, the NBA stands for National Basketball Association. I like to watch basketball from time to time. So if you want in your web page, you want to display NBA without displaying this whole thing. But at the same time, you want people to know what it stands for. So we can do something like this. We'll start off with the P element, okay? And then what we'll do is we're going to say the NBA. Now, before I do the NBA, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do ABBR, okay? So since NBA is an abbreviation, I'm going to put NBA in here. Now, there is an attribute tied to the abbreviation element. It's called title. Now, in the title, you're going to put what NBA stands for. So I'm just going to put title equals National Basketball Association. So now when people hover over NBA, they're going to see what it stands for. So let's go ahead and finish out my paragraph element. I'm just going to close it here. So I'm going to say the NBA is very fun to watch. Now I have the NBA here. There is no space here after NBA, so I'm going to put a space before is like that. So let's go ahead and we'll save this. We'll open it up in our browser. So now you can see it says the NBA is very fun to watch, but now watch when I highlight NBA. It's going to pop up National Basketball Association. So when your readers go on a website, if they want to know what this acronym means, they can just highlight it and it says National Basketball Association. And there's a little line underneath to show that it's an abbreviation. And then you can see the space after NBA and before is, because if I delete that and leave it like that, I'll save it, open it up in a browser. You can see that there is no space there. So that's why you want to put a space after the abbreviation closing tag. So that's abbreviations in a nutshell. So the last thing I wanted to go over was the address element. So I'm just going to type in address, right? So pretty simple to remember. So the address element, you can use this for several things. You can use it for a URL. You can use it for a physical address, maybe where somebody lives. You can use it for a phone number, so on and so forth, right? So for an email address, I'll just put email address at gmail.com. right? And I'll show you how that looks. We'll open that up. So you can see the address element, it will italicize the content that you put in there. But say you want to put a physical address in there. So I'll just put 1234 Lane Avenue, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line break. And you remember from previous videos, the line break element is BR. So I'm going to put 1234 Lane Avenue. And I can put city and state. I'll put another line break there. And then I'll put zip code, which is, I'll just say 12345. Now let's go ahead and save this. We'll open it up in a browser. So you can see here I have 1234 Lane Avenue, city, state, zip code. So you can see the address element, it makes it all italicized. And also with my line break element, I make sure that all of these are on new lines. So that's pretty much address in a nutshell. I mean, you can put a phone number in here. So pretty much anything you want to put in there. So that's it for this video, guys. Just wanted to keep it simple. So we went over the short quote element, we went over the block quote element, the abbreviation element, and also the address element. So if you guys found this video helpful and useful, please like the video, and also please subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you guys later.